There are 3-minute people, there are 3-hour people, and then there are 3-day people. Not every single person that you meet is a 3-day person. And I'm talking like you are stranded on an island with someone for 3 days. Who are those people in your life? Like literally right now, close down your eyes, have a little think, like who are the people in my life that I would want to be stranded with on an island for 3 days?
The Mindspo podcast.
What do you see with your mind's eye?
Welcome back. Let's elevate. Roll your shoulders up and back. Unclench your jaw. Elongate your spine as you take a deep breath in. And now, exhale. Now take your mind to that person, place, or thing that you have gratitude for. And start to feel into the joy available to you at all times. Elevate into a higher vibration as we expand together and dive into this conversation.
Welcome to the Mindspo podcast. My name's Rochelle Fox. I am your host, and you are tuning in for another episode in our Mindspo Manifestation series, brought to you by Manifesty app. Something in my gut today told me to record this episode. So I know that there is someone out there listening to this right now that needs to hear this episode and is going through the challenge that I am going to be talking about today. And it's something that I have been through many times in my life. And it's something that I've seen play out with many of my friends and many of my students. And that is the challenge of relationships and friendships when it comes to a manifestation and a personal growth journey. When we're on this kind of journey of change and transformation, and we're really discovering who we are and what we want, and we're starting to go for our big picture dreams, it's when a lot of things change in our life. A lot of environmental changes happen, a lot of mental, spiritual, and physical changes happen, and also a lot of changes happen in our relationships. When you are on a spiritual and a personal growth journey, you are literally going through a process of changing your vibration, of shifting who you are, of becoming who you are meant to be. And with that change comes change with the people around you, because naturally, as you change who you like and what you like, and you change your standards with people, what you're willing to accept, what you want, what you don't want. It's this massive journey of kind of death and rebirth. And when you're in this journey of death and rebirth, one of the things that can be, I feel, the hardest is how our relationships change. Our relationships with our family, our relationships with our loved ones, our romantic relationships. And today I'm specifically going to be talking about, I think, one of the hardest ones, and that is your relationships with your friends. When you decide to change and transform and really, go for the things that you want in your life, there are going to be some shifts that happen with the people that you've been closest to. Growing up in the Western world, I feel like we painted this fairy tale and this kind of belief that friendship is meant to last forever. My first memories of friendship were those love heart necklaces that you crack in half, and then your friend gets one half and you get the other half, and friendship charms. And it was this sort of idea in childhood that you get a best friend and you grow with that person forever, and it's going to be you and them against the world. And I just don't think that is really the reality. And that definitely hasn't been the reality in my life. And a lot of people that I know don't really have friendships like that. Most people that I know have gone through so many different friendship groups and friendship cycles and ups and downs with their friends. And maybe they have a few school friends or that one person that they have known their whole entire life. But that person isn't necessarily the best match for who they are right now. And when we grew up and when we were young, I feel like we were painted this idea of that's how it was meant to be. You were meant to grow and evolve with this person. And I even just think through movies. There's so many movies movies of like you and your best friend and it's going to be like this. I was even watching that series, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and the whole entire first season of this show was about these two adult friends and the relationship that their children had together and how they had found each other and grown old together and then been spending every single summer together. And I'm not trying to burst the bubble of anyone that has that relationship. I think it's amazing if you do. And it's actually more rare to have that than more common. And because we have this idea that friendship is meant to last forever and these people are meant to grow and evolve with us, we can put a lot of pressure on our friendships, especially when we are growing and evolving ourselves. We have this idea that these people that we have known for our whole entire life, like they're meant to grow and evolve with us at the same pace. But that's not the case. Something that I've learned to say to myself is just because you've decided that you're going there or you're doing that doesn't mean this other person is going to the same place or is going to do the same thing. And I really remind myself of this quite often because I had to really remind myself, just because I have chosen this path or just because I want to go and do this thing doesn't mean that this person that I like, that I hang out with, that I'm close to is going to want to do this with me. And the more I force them and the more I try and change them, the more resistance I'm going to create in that friendship I found. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because when we're on this spiritual kind of path and when we're going after these dreams and these manifestations and trying to create this stuff for ourselves, this can be one of the big drainers. This can be something that takes a lot of energy away from us, because what I see a lot of people doing is they take this energy that they have inside of them, and instead of taking this creative, brand new, fresh energy and channeling it into creating brand new soul-aligned friendships that are a fuck yes for the future version of them, they instead take this fresh energy and then they try and contort and change existing friendships that are actually not interested in this brand new version of you, that aren't interested in the things that you are now interested in. But they have this kind of hold up because they're like, but this is my friend. This is the person I've always been doing things with. But just because that person has been a match for the past version of you doesn't mean that they're going to be a complete match for this future version of you. And that's okay. And that doesn't mean that the friendship has to cut off and die and you need to just cancel this person. No, it just means that friendship is evolving, and maybe that person isn't like your bestie in this next chapter. Maybe they're just your really close friend. And I think this is something that we need to accept and be ready for, and also just take a little bit of the pressure off. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm guessing that you are into manifestation, which means it's highly likely that you've made yourself a vision board before. Vision boards are super popular because they can really work. But have you heard of a vision board movie before? A vision board movie makes it easy to make use of one of the biggest manifestation secrets of them all: emotion. Why is emotion important? Because your emotions are literally energy in motion. It's a signal that you are sending out to the universe, because what you focus on expands. And when you focus on a movie of your future and you feel an elevated emotion, you can literally supercharge your attraction ability. And that's why we created Manifesty, your manifestation bestie. We spent 2 years building the manifestation app of our dreams. And with it, you can make your very own manifestation vision board movie. Manifesty makes manifesting so easy with a whole set of functions that will literally turn your phone from a distraction machine into an attraction machine. And if you love this podcast, then I know you are going to love this app. You can download it right now for free. And if you choose to subscribe, it's also one of the best ways that you can support us here at Mindspo to continue the work that we do. Find it now in both app stores by searching Manifesty. That's Manifest and then IE. And start your free trial today. Thanks so much for listening. And now let's get back to the episode. And a saying that has really helped me with my own evolution when it comes to friendships is that people are in your life rather for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Like, People are there for one of these three things. Not every single person that you meet, not every single person that you get close with is going to be your friend. Death do you part. Like, this is not marriage. This is not some like life binding contract. Just because you went on a Euro trip with this person doesn't mean that they're going to be by your bedside table in the nursing home with you when you're 80. Like, I feel we have this idea that I was close to this person, knew everything about me, so now we have to be like this for life. And it's like, no, maybe that was just the season that that person was in your lifetime for. Or maybe you had someone in your life that you thought you were going to be close to for a really long time, and they did something that was really telling, that taught you a massive lesson. And maybe that friend was just there for that reason, to put you through that test, to put you through that challenge, to teach you that thing, whether it was good or bad. And I feel this is when we have to accept and just have this kind of openness with relationships, that they are there to teach us. They are there to expand us. They are there to be a mirror, and they're not meant to be collectibles. Like, friends are not collectibles. Another frame that has helped me when it comes to friendships and relationships is the concept that there are 3-minute people, there are 3-hour people, and then there are 3-day people. Not every single person that you meet is a 3-day person. And I'm talking like you are stranded on an island with someone for 3 days. Who are those people in your life? Like, literally right now, close down your eyes, have a little think, like, who are the people in my life that I would want to be stranded with on an island for 3 days? Those are your 3 days people. Those are your like OGs. You're going to fall asleep on the couch with them. This is like the ride or dies. Like, those are those kinds of people in your life. And for me, those are the people that I keep really close, that I put a lot of energy and intention into. These are the ones that, are really special to me in my life. And then I have 3-hour people. These are the people that I could hang out with for 3 hours, and I would sit down and have a coffee or have lunch with, or go to the beach with and hang out with at a party. Like, those are those people. And then you have your 3-minute people, and they're the people that you don't mind. They're cool. You'll catch up with them, but maybe they're just really not a vibrational match for you. Maybe their energy is a little bit heavy. They don't really fill you up. You feel more drained around them. And that's okay. Like, not every single person is going to be a 3-day desert island, deserted, you hanging out, drinking coconuts, trying to survive kind of person. And I think that it's really important to remember that we need to stop trying to force everyone into being something that they're not. And something I always remind myself is that people are not Swiss Army knives. I used to think of people like Swiss Army knives. I would have a friendship, or I'd have a relationship with someone, and I thought that person had to be my best friend, my cheerleader, my go-to therapist person that would listen when I had something going on, the person that I could get drunk with, the person that I could meditate with. Like, I wanted my friendships to be Swiss Army knives. I wanted them to be everything. And when I just kind of stopped that way of thinking, and instead I realized that instead of people being like Swiss Army knives that could do everything, they're actually just like individual people. And I have different people in my life for different seasons and different reasons and different purposes. I don't really look at my friends like they have to have every single quality. And this has also been really helpful for me. And if you're growing through friendships, the thing I would ask you is, these people that you have in your life, like, what are the common qualities that you look for in your friendships? Maybe it's loyalty, maybe it's compassion, maybe it's trust. Sure, choose 3 or 4 core values that you want to have in all of your friendships that are kind of non-negotiable values, just values of being a good person. And then also think about the other things that you want. So maybe you want someone that is your ride or die cheerleader. Maybe you want someone that's like your wellness BFF that is always like keen to go to the yoga class with you and hang out with you. And maybe you want someone that's like your fuck it bucket friend that is always just saying yes to adventures and is ready to go on a trip with you and is just kind of in that YOLO energy. Allow each person to be their own thing, and then don't force the YOLO person that is just go with the flow, super spontaneous, maybe never on time, to be your wellness bestie. Like, these are two different types of people. And when you can just accept them as they are and enjoy them as they are, that's when I feel you're going to have a lot more lightness with friendships and be a lot more accepting. Because when we are going back to why I started this episode, when we're on this manifestation and personal development journey, sometimes we'll try and turn these friendships that we have, these existing friendships, into something else. And that person won't be going in that direction, or they're not interested in that thing. And then we'll get in our ego of wanting to cancel that friendship, and they're just not on the same page and they're not on the same vibration as me. And it's like, yeah, of course they're not. And I've had to really accept this in my life. Like, of course they're not on the same vibration as you. They're not on the same vibration as you because they are not you. They are on their own soul's quest. They are figuring out their own shit. They are not on this timeline with you. And if you have some friends on the same timeline with you, incredible, amazing, exciting. Be the biggest cheerleader for those people and go on this roller coaster of a ride with them. But don't cancel out the friends that aren't on that same track with you just because you want them to be where you are. Let them be where they are and accept them as they are. And if you don't like how they're acting, or if you don't like their energy, then just spend a little less time with them and take that time that you would have spent on that friendship and channel it into creating a brand new soul-aligned friendship, rather than trying to change and contort this existing relationship. And know that friendships are like flowers. They're like plants. You have to water them and nurture them. But we don't enjoy a garden. We don't enjoy going out in the garden and going out in nature because every single flower is the same. That would be boring as hell. If I went to the National Botanical Gardens of Australia or in Sydney and the flowers were all the same and everything looked the same, I'd be like, this is absolutely boring. It's the same with your friendships. Everyone is a flower. Everyone is growing at their own speed. Everyone needs different amounts of water. There are going to be friends that give you shelter and give you shade, and they are solid oak trees that you can just know are always there. And maybe those friends, like, they're pretty self-sufficient. Maybe they don't need to be called all the time. Maybe they're just those friends that you know are there no matter what. But then maybe you have a friend over here that's a little bit more of a figgledy-leaf fig. Oh, can you tell that I used to have a traumatic experience with my figgledy-leaf figs? Anyone that can keep a figgledy-leaf fig alive, like, how do you do it? Honestly, they are the hardest plants. If you don't know what a figgledy-leaf fig is, literally Google it. It's this house plant that is really, really hard to grow. Anyway, tangent, but maybe you have a friend that's a figgledy-leaf fig and they need a little bit more care and a little bit more support, and it's just a little bit more of a touchy relationship, and you have to be aware of that. This is something that I like to remind myself with friendships. You know what? An example. I recently hung out with a whole bunch of my friends on the Good Human retreat. So we did a good reset retreat with my mate Cooper Troutman, and he has this company called the Good Human Factory. And when I was doing this retreat, I was with my Sydney mates, and I don't see these people very often. But when I see them, it is like no time has passed. They are like solid oak trees. I have the best time with them. I have the deepest conversations with them. They are so high vibe. They feel amazing, but I don't message them every week. Sometimes I don't message them for a month, but the friendships never change. Then I have other friendships that I need to check in on more regularly. I need to put more time and energy into. And it's just important to kind of start to understand this and start to realize that friendships will change as you change. Change is literally the only true constant in life. And I feel like we need to be more accepting of friendships and relationships changing, and to take it as a sign that this is not some horrible negative thing that's happening, but maybe this is a sign that you are growing, that you are evolving. Maybe this one relationship fading away or not feeling in alignment is actually a massive sign that you are stepping into who you want to become and who you are destined to become. And you're just going in two different directions. And that's okay. Like I said, people are rather in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. So just accept people as they are and keep going in the direction that you want to be going in. I feel like my action step for this podcast is to challenge you to really focus on creating rather than changing. Who is it in your life right now that you're trying to change, that you're trying to conform and twist and kind of get on the same level as you? Let that energy go. Just stop doing that and just surrender that energy and that whole entire process right now. And instead, take that energy that you've been applying to trying to change someone into trying to create a brand new soul-aligned friendship. One of the best ways you can do this is just to pretend that you're on holiday. Something that I'm really good at, which I think is kind of funny, and people always pull me up on this and they're like, you just like find this so easy. And I think it comes from being like a nomad for so many years, but I say hi to people out at coffee shops and yoga classes and at venues all the time. Like I will literally see someone and I'll compliment them and be like, hey, nice ring, or, oh, I really like your hair, or, oh, you smell good. I'm always just starting conversations with people. And this isn't with everyone, but if I see someone that I kind of get a vibe from and they're at a certain place and I know, oh, this person might be a cool person to connect with, I'll strike up a conversation. It's something that I do all the time. And I do this because I'm a nomad, and you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone when you're being a nomad and you're traveling around. You are in this energy of always like saying hi to new people, because if you didn't do that, like you literally wouldn't meet anyone. People that are expats are having to create all of their friendships and start from the ground up because we're in a new country. So take that nomad traveler energy and apply that to wherever you are right now. Next time you're at the coffee shop or out at night or at work, just go and compliment someone that you like the vibe of or you like the energy of, and start a conversation with them and just see where it goes. So funny. It's really random. I did this the other day. I saw a guy out at an art store with his girlfriend, and this guy was wearing a very, very cool ring, like the coolest ring I've seen. And it really caught my eye. And I was like, yo, dude, this ring is amazing. And he was like, oh, thanks so much. Like my granddad actually gave this to me. And then he started talking to me about art supplies, and he was talking to me about paints. And I was like, oh, cool. This person's like really knowledgeable on all this different art stuff. And we struck up a conversation and we're talking. And then I realized that this guy actually owns this jewelry label that I've been in love with for years. And I was like, wow, how wild. Like you're the designer of that jewelry label. And I kid you not, ever since striking up a conversation with this dude, Sol and I have now run into him 3 days in a row, like literally at like a sunset park. Like we were there at sunset watching sunset in Uluwatu, and we like ran into him, and he came with like his art supplies, and all of a sudden we're sitting with him and his crew of people, and we're like painting this ink paper. And it was just such a testament to meeting someone and feeling like, oh, this person could be like a vibe. Like he seems really cool and his girlfriend seems cool and they seem like really nice people. And then he's literally the designer of a jewelry label that I've been in love with in Bali for years. And it's, instead of taking energy and attention and trying to change existing relationships in my life, I'm just so open to finding new relationships. And I think this is something that you can do no matter where you are, but you have to just make the decision to start up a conversation with people and be open to starting a new friendship, starting a new journey with a new person, and getting out of your comfort zone. So many people just spend no time creating new relationships and all of their energy and time trying to change the existing relationships that they have in their life. And I can tell you now, your life is going to become so much easier when you focus on actually just creating new energy in your life rather than trying to change the old. So there you have it. That is my podcast episode for you today. I hope that it inspires you to strike a conversation with someone new and maybe just step away from trying to change or contort an existing relationship, and just have a little bit more acceptance for people as they are, and a little bit more excitement for the possibilities of the new and exciting friendships and relationships that could be out there for you if you just gave them a chance. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And if you're new to our world and you want to elevate your mind and step into your best self, then be sure to download our app, Manifesty, from the App Store and take advantage of the free trial. With Manifesty, you can create your own vision board movies, practice powerful meditations, and set affirmation reminders so your phone supports your journey towards that abundant vision of your future. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.